On today's episode of Locked On Longhorns, true freshman and future Longhorns superstar Justice Finkley joins the show.
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Longhorns, the show. Jonathan Davis, your host. Once again, four-star true freshman edge, Justice Finkley, joining the show. Future Longhorn superstar out of Alabama. How do you say your high school, Justice?
Hewitt-Trussville High School.
Hewitt-Trussville High School out of Alabama. Super deep voice. Way too deep to be a teenager. I'm just playing. So you're finishing up your first semester of college. You enrolled early, of course. And so how have the last 5 months been for you, I guess, since leaving high school and coming to the University of Texas?
It's been great, actually. It's definitely been a grind, getting adjusted to the environment, especially getting adjusted to the workload that this college offers. But overall, it's been an amazing experience.
Okay. And so I guess for your first semester of college, what has the workload been like?
Oh, it's been heavy. Definitely not high school. I had to realize that pretty quick.
For sure. Okay. So getting into some of the football stuff, my first question for you is your top three schools were Texas, Alabama, and Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what ultimately set Texas apart?
So throughout my whole recruiting, I kind of set parameters based off books and ball. So throughout my visits and my official visits, I always, kind of depicted if a school had either too much books or too much ball, because I wanted to look for a school that was a perfect mixture of both. And I just thought Texas was that. You have, it's definitely known for football recently, and I think it has great academics, especially with what I want to do, which is I aspire to be a neurosurgeon or a plastic surgeon. They have Delson Medical School on campus. So that's definitely why I chose Texas.
Okay. Two of your top schools, Alabama and Texas, will face off against each other on September 10th. And you grew up in the state of Alabama, and pretty much your whole life, Alabama has been a powerhouse in college football, the premier team in college football. But you chose to come to Texas. You made the right decision, Hookem. So what is that going to be like on September 10th when you face off against Nick Saban in the Crimson Tide? Go ahead,
It's
my
definitely
bad.
going to be a cool experience, especially, being from Alabama. No, you good. It's going to be pretty fun, pretty cool seeing all the dudes that, I kind of grew up with and I know from my home state. But it's going to be a great experience for sure.
Okay. All right. So my next question is, when people talk about this Texas football team going into the 2022 season, most of the talk is surrounding the offense. And they talk about the potential that this team has on offense. But when they talk about the defense, the glasses aren't as rose-colored. That they say that the defense has a lot of room to improve, and they talk about the pass rush specifically. We know that the team went all in on O'Shawn Mathis, and O'Shawn Mathis decided to go to Nebraska. But as a member of this defense and as a member of the pass rush, I know that that's something that you probably take personally. So what can people expect from this Texas Longhorn defense this year and from this pass rush?
I think they could definitely expect a solid defense. Even though while the eyes are on the offense, just know that we're working every day, all day. There's definitely, especially in my game, I have room for improvement. I can't say the same for everybody else, but I think we're a great defense overall.
And what is one area or some areas that you feel like you need to improve on the most heading into the season?
I definitely think with PK and the addition of GP Gary Patterson, he's added some things to the defense, and just like my overall understanding of the concepts, I'm still picking up on that. Also, just my pass rush game a little bit, getting used to these sets in college, like basically just the next level. That's about it, honestly. Otherwise, I think I'm doing pretty well, and it's just gonna come with time and building confidence.
Absolutely. So, without getting into it too much, what can you say Gary Patterson has brought to this defense? I know you weren't on the team last year, but Gary Patterson, an accomplished head coach at TCU, comes over as the special assistant to Sark, helping out Pete Kwiatkowski with the defense. What has Gary Patterson brought to your side of the ball?
I mean, I definitely can't compare it right now because I wasn't here last year, so I don't know what was in the defensive playbook last year compared to this year. But definitely from the DN outside linebacker standpoint, playing the run, playing the four eye, dropping back in coverage, and just edge rushing.
Okay. Sounds good. For the people that may not know, explain what the 4-eye is.
So the four eye is that inside shoulder of the tackle. You want to play heavy on that tackle, especially the run downs, pass downs, convert to an edge rusher and get to the outside.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So I feel like I've seen that this team has a different energy going into
Mhm,
this year than they may have had last year. Of course, last year they didn't have the results that they would have aspired to have. But I
mhm.
feel like the energy around this team is different. I feel like Sark has you guys, more pumped up and ready for this season. And it looks like this team is really ready to go out and compete, possibly for a Big 12 championship and hopefully even more. I'm not putting all of those expectations on you, but I think that the energy around this team is different. And I think that this team is ready to compete on the level that most people feel the Longhorns should be at. So just describe the energy of this team right now after spring ball and where they're at.
I think our hopes are high. Confidence is very high, flying around the ball. I definitely think Sark instilled a vision in us that we're going to be great. We're going to go attack our opponents this year instead of letting them attack us. But I think that our heads are held up high for sure this year, and just everybody's ready to ball out.
For sure. Quick word from our sponsors. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all of the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even next season's NLF futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sport wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So you spoke about head coach Steve Sarkisian. What makes him unique, or what makes him special? What makes you want to go to war for him each and every Saturday?
So in my recruiting, we talked all the time. I knew I was always able to talk to him, whether it be texting or a phone call. I definitely think he cares about his players, cares about the mental well-being and the physical well-being of his players, and that's just somebody who I want to fight behind.
Okay. So you enrolled early and you were
Mhm.
a part of spring ball. What was that like for you, that experience? Coming to the University of Texas and getting right into it with the spring ball.
It was definitely a different experience. The first few weeks were a little shaky, but towards the end, I kind of strapped it up and got to it. Like I said, it was just going to come with confidence and more reps, and that happened.
Okay. What I know that the orange and white game was the same day as your prom.
Yeah.
So how did it feel to be playing in the orange and white game instead of going to your prom?
It felt great, taking a step forward into like the next stages of my life. I mean, completely fine with not going to prom. I've never been to a dance or a prom throughout my whole high school, so it's nothing different.
Yeah, I didn't go to prom either for different reasons. So you'll be all right, definitely. Is there like something you can share that happened in the spring that fans may not know, or maybe like a funny story, or just something that happened in the spring that fans might not know from this year's edition of spring ball?
Nothing that kind of stands out to me, but I will say, I woke up every day, like not every day, but Tuesdays and Thursdays when we had practice, I would wake up at 4:30. That was a struggle, but over time it got better.
Why were you waking up at 4:30?
Because we kind of had to be there like 5 o'clock, 5:15 for
Oh,
eating, tape, and stuff like that.
okay, okay.
Mm.
What would define a successful season for you this year? Being in your first year in college. Power 5 program, Texas. You're still adjusting, still getting that confidence, still learning, like you said. So what would define a successful season for you?
Undefeated. I think, with all the guys we have, all the resources we have, the staff we have, I think we should go undefeated. Uh, Even with that, you aim for the stars, you hit the moon. So
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes of all time, Kanye said, reach for the stars. If you fall, you land on the cloud. And it's funny because I'm on here drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm saying y'all are going to be great. This team is different. They're going to compete for a Big 12 championship. Saying everything but Texas is back. When I say Texas is back, they get mad at me. You know what I mean? But they can't get mad at you. And I know they can't whoop you. You know what I'm saying? So you get out here saying that Texas is going undefeated. I love that. I think the fans are going to love that too as well.
yeah,
So
sure.
what has Austin been like for you? I kind of have mixed reviews about the city of Austin. What has Austin been like for you since you've been there the last 5 months?
Okay, before I tell you, what are your mixed reviews?
So I live in Houston currently, but I
Okay.
have lived in Austin. I lived in Austin for the Austin area for about 5 years. I think Austin is a really cool city, but to me, it's more of something I would enjoy like on a weekend rather than just live there, all the time. It's something I would like to like come out for the weekend, eat some good food, hit Six, maybe hit the Domain, hit Lake Travis, like do all of that in a weekend. But as far as just living there, I would prefer to live in Houston. So maybe not even an Austin thing. I might just like Houston a little bit better. But
I
Austin is
got you.
definitely cool for sure. Like I said, this is more of a. I think somebody told me the other day. The way they put it is they love coming to Austin and they love leaving. So that's maybe that's how I would put it.
I definitely think it's a cool experience. It's definitely, Birmingham, Alabama, but I'm discovering a new place every day, and I'm loving Austin, to be honest. It's a beautiful city.
It is beautiful, definitely. What is the best food you've had thus far in Austin?
Best food, probably Matt's El Rancho, or right across the street from it, Gordo's Public House.
Okay, what do you get from those places? Put the fans on, let them know.
So from Matt's El Rancho, the last time I just had like enchiladas and like beef enchiladas and rice and beans, and then from Gordo's I had the Nacho Libre. It's like a donut sandwich, Fritos, burger patty, jalapenos, and nacho cheese. It's delicious.
It sounds delicious. It
Yeah.
sounds delicious. If I can give you a suggestion, one suggestion, this is my spot. It's Cypress Grill. It's in South Austin. So it's like a
Mhm.
Cajun, like seafood spot. And I get the chicken atchafalaya every time. So it's like the breaded chicken with the crawfish etouffee. I don't know if you eat that, but the
Mhm.
crawfish etouffee on the top. You can get dirty rice or the white rice with the mustard greens on the side. You got to do that while you're in Austin for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Also like Pluckers. Pluckers is a good spot
I
too.
love Pluckers. Hold on. I think we about to bond. What's your wing flavor?
Wing flavor, I'd kind of try to tell them to do like a Cajun dry rub along with, a little ranch on top of it, like a mix. But that's pretty much what I get.
All right, Plucker's order the spicy lemon pepper. Those are my wings. The spicy lemon pepper wings
Uh-huh.
with the spicy ranch fries. You can get the fries tossed in any dry rub. So the spicy ranch fries, spicy lemon pepper wings. That's my go-to Plucker's order every single time. Never fails. But
It
I like
sounds
that.
delicious
Just shout out to Plucker's. Yeah, you're gonna have to go try that out, Justice. All
for
right.
sure.
So food-wise in Austin, the talk of the town over the last couple of days has been Raising Cane's. And I got on the podcast yesterday and said Raising Cane's is cool, but it's a little overrated to me. Have you had Raising Cane's yet? And what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, okay. So back home we have this place called Guthrie's. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Okay.
Guthrie's,
I
but
haven't.
it's definitely like the exact same as Cane's. I don't think Cane's is overrated. I think it's up there with Chick-fil-A, to be honest. As long as you subbing out the coleslaw for, extra piece of toast or
Okay.
another sauce, then you good for sure.
Make
But
sure. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All right. All
Raising
right.
Cane's is delicious.
I say okay. So I said it is good. Like we live in an era where it's like you can't be in the middle. Like if I said something is overrated, that means it's not. I think it's good. It's one across the street from my house. I might go get it tonight just because I've been talking about Cane's all day. But I just think there's so many places I would rather get tenders from. Popeyes, Wingstop. wing,
Mhm.
whatever. Like there's just so many places I would rather get chicken from. But I could tell that you're a real connoisseur because, like you said, you have to substitute the coleslaw for the extra piece of toast.
Right.
Somebody needs to tell Jordan Addison that because I analyzed that picture and I could see the coleslaw in the picture. It was only one piece of toast. So you could tell he's not a veteran, and somebody needs to let him know that. All right. So we talked about few music. Who do you listen to? Who you listening to right now? Who you jamming? Like who's your
Uh,
heading to practice or just walking to class? Like who you listening to right now?
Definitely, like I really like Kanye, Drake, MF Doom.
Mm,
What else? I like a lot of pop music for sure.
mm,
Uh, Daniel Caesar, Tyler the Creator,
mm.
stuff like that.
Okay, so there's some different interests there. I like MF Doom. You said Tyler the Creator. Some pop. Who you listening to in the pop game? Put me on. I'm mostly
Uh,
rap, so put me on in the pop game.
Khalid,
Okay,
Billie Eilish,
okay.
a little Doja Cat here and there,
A little Doja Cat.
just a
Okay,
little bit.
okay, that's cool. Favorite Kanye album?
Favorite Kanye album? Probably Graduation,
Okay, okay. Graduation is one of my favorite. I have to say, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is my favorite,
for
but
sure.
Graduation definitely would be a close second. Favorite song off Graduation?
Graduation. All Falls Down.
All Falls Down. Okay, that's on College Dropout, but
I get them. I get them mixed
definitely
up,
one of his
but
best songs.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So outside of I guess music and football, like do you have any interest, anything you spend your time doing, anything that like you can kind of just wind down from football and do? Like
Yeah,
any
for
hobbies
sure.
outside of that? Yeah.
I really like Disney and Marvel, like the universe. I
Mm.
love watching Disney movies whenever I can. In my Twitter bio, it kind of says Disney and Marvel connoisseur. I try to indulge myself in the Marvel world a lot. Um, but other than that, definitely like, walking around, checking out cool places, playing video games. That's about it.
Okay. So favorite Marvel movie or character, and then what video games are you playing right now?
Definitely Endgame or Black Panther, and Black Panther or Spider-Man is probably gonna be my favorite superhero.
Okay. And then what video games are you playing right now?
Elden Ring. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Possibly.
Um, I play Miles Morales, Warzone here and there. That's about it.
So no sports titles.
I used to, but not as much anymore.
So that's I feel like this is a thing. Like I feel like athletes. I mean, well, you of course you have like the athletes that play with themselves, and like a lot of players in the NBA like play with 2K and stuff. But I feel
Right.
like I talk to a lot of athletes that don't play the sports titles. I don't know.
I feel like it's kind of dying down a little bit.
Yeah,
It used to be popular, and now just people don't play it as much. It's more of like Madden and 2K is one of those games like you with the guys, extra controllers, like you play while you sitting in the same room.
yeah, that's true. And I mean, largely they do come out with the same stuff every year, and it's not just much variety to it. Like those other games you talked about, there's so much variety to it. Madden and 2K, it could be the same thing in 2015. That's going to be in 2022. Just the graphics going to be a little bit better. I only play one video game. I'm a huge baseball fan. I only play MLB The Show, but I love it. That's the only video game
I
I
need to
play.
get into that.
Yeah, you need to check it out, man. You're gonna get obsessed. You're super hard to hit a baseball. You're gonna find out when you start when you start playing the game. So, what sports teams do you root for outside of the Longhorns, of course, and all the Longhorn athletic
Uh,
programs?
what sport?
Well, what sports do you watch? And then like basketball, football, like who do you root for in NFL? I don't know. Do you watch baseball? Do you watch soccer? Like what sports do you watch and who do you root
So
for?
I've only watched baseball or MLB one time, and I was watching the World Series. And then I don't watch too much NBA, but I do watch a little bit of NFL, and I kind of like the Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still like the Seahawks now that Russ left and y'all are rebuilding, or?
Can't say I'm gonna like bandwagon Russell Wilson and follow him to the Broncos, but I think I'm gonna stick with the Seahawks.
Okay, y'all still got a couple pieces. You know, DK, y'all got the same build. You know, you and DK
Yeah,
Metcalf and
for sure.
Tyler Lockett. Y'all got some pieces for sure. So I think before we left off, I was asking you what have you noticed thus far are the biggest differences between Texas and Alabama, like state wise?
State-wise, I think football is more emphasized out here. I mean, of course, Bama, we got some dogs, but definitely Texas has some dogs too.
Yeah, for sure. So you would say football is more of an emphasis in
Yeah.
Texas?
hmm
Okay. So just really quickly, with you being from Alabama, what is like the Iron Bowl mean in the state between Alabama and Auburn?
I definitely think it's a huge thing because that's all our state is comprised of. Auburn fans and Alabama fans. You got families who are half and half, some over here, some over there. So they all compete for bragging rights when they're watching the Iron Bowl. Everybody gets together, tailgates, cook food inside. It's basically another holiday, to be honest.
All right, cool. In 5 years, I asked your mom this. In 5 years, actually, I'm gonna ask another question first. So, and I have
Mhm.
to shout out Dr. Finkley. I'd be remiss not to do that. One of the lessons she said she instilled in you is don't go anywhere looking for your mother's love.
Right.
So, what does that mean to you?
Um, that I'm going out into the world to handle business. Wherever I go to, I'm representing my brand. I'm representing myself. And coming to Texas, I'm not looking for anybody's love. Like, I'm not going to get too comfortable. Business is business, but the relationships are definitely still there.
Got you. Fill in the blank. In 5 years, Justice Finkley will be blank.
Uh, very successful.
Doing what?
Uh, to the league.
To the league.
To the
Playing for
league.
the Seahawks next to DK. No, thank you, Justice Finkley, once again, future superstar at the 40 acres. I really appreciate you for coming on and exposing yourself a little bit to Longhorn Nation. I know they're gonna love it.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Locked On Longhorns, the show. Jonathan Davis, your host, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Until next time, peace.